My fiance's childhood best friend broke down crying at my bridal shower, saying she'd always loved him and believed she should be the one marrying him. We removed her from the wedding guest list, and afterwards she tried convincing him to call everything off. I'm 25F and set to marry my fiance, Nathan, 29M, in 6 weeks at a vineyard in Napa Valley. I'm sharing this because the situation at my bridal shower last weekend left me needing neutral opinions before making decisions. Nathan and I have been together for 4 years. We met through our families. Our moms went to college together and reconnected at an alumni event when I was 20. That summer, his parents hosted a barbecue and invited my family. Nathan was there with friends. I noticed him, but assumed nothing would come of it since he was older and seemed out of my league. My younger brother teased me for staring until I finally approached Nathan while he was getting drinks from the cooler. We talked for about 20 minutes before his friends pulled him into a beer pong game. He asked for my number before I left. We started dating around 8 months later. He wanted to take things slow due to the age difference and our family's connection, which I appreciated. We've been steady since then, no major issues. We moved in together 2 years ago, and he proposed last October during a weekend in Portland. The central person in this issue is Danielle, 28F. She has been Nathan's best friend since middle school. Their families lived on the same street, and they attended the same schools growing up. When I first met Danielle, she was dating Nathan's college roommate Jimmy, 29M. They had been together for 3 years at that point. Danielle came across as very friendly, maybe overly so. We met for the first time at Nathan's birthday dinner about 4 months into our relationship. She hugged me like we were already close and asked personal questions all evening. She asked to exchange numbers and texted me the next day wanting to meet for coffee, just the two of us. It felt unusual to me. I'm not someone who forms new friendships quickly. I have a solid group from high school and college and didn't feel the need for more. I was polite to Danielle, but didn't try to build a close friendship. We stayed in the friendly acquaintance zone. She wasn't inappropriate, just very eager to be involved in my life. When Nathan proposed in October, we shared the news on social media and in our family group chat. Everyone congratulated us. His friends organized a dinner. Danielle didn't comment publicly. Instead, she sent Nathan a private text the next day saying she wished him well and was happy for him, without mentioning me at all. He showed it to me because it felt strange. After that, Danielle's behavior toward me shifted. She wasn't rude, just distant. She stopped starting conversations, and during group outings, she interacted with everyone else, but barely with me. I assumed she'd simply realized we weren't going to be close and stepped back, which didn't bother me. I had enough happening with work and wedding planning. Then, about 7 months ago, Danielle and Jimmy broke up suddenly. They had seemed fine at a game night 2 weeks earlier. Nathan got a text from Jimmy saying the relationship was over. When Nathan asked why, Jimmy only said they wanted different things. Danielle gave the same vague explanation. No one pressed for details. They remained civil. Jimmy soon began seeing someone new, and Danielle stayed single. My bridal shower took place last Saturday. My older sister, Stacy, 28F, and Nathan's sister, Aubrey, 27F, organized it. They rented a private room at a restaurant downtown. Around 30 people attended. My friends, cousins, my mom and aunt, Nathan's mom and Aubrey, plus a few of his female relatives. Danielle was invited because she is part of Nathan's life, and I had no reason not to include her. The shower went smoothly. The food was great. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and there were mimosas and champagne. Some guests got pretty tipsy. I had a few drinks but stayed clear-headed. Around 3 p.m., I went to use the restroom inside the private room. As I got close to the door, I heard voices and someone crying. I stopped. I recognized Danielle and Aubrey. I waited in the hallway as Danielle said that everything happening should have been hers, that she didn't understand why Nathan chose someone like me, that she believed they were meant to be together, and that she'd always loved him. She was crying the entire time. Aubrey tried reassuring her and told her this wasn't the right setting, that Nathan would be furious if she created a scene, and that she should leave and calm down. I froze, then walked back toward the main room. Moments later, Aubrey and Danielle came out. I turned as if I'd just been walking over and asked if everything was okay. Danielle's face was red, and her eyes swollen. She said she didn't feel well and needed to leave. I walked her to the door. After she left, I pulled Aubrey aside and told her I'd heard everything. She looked mortified and apologized. She said she planned to call Nathan and tell him, but I asked her not to. I wanted time to decide how to handle it. I asked if Nathan and Danielle had ever dated or hooked up. She said no. She said their moms used to joke when they were teens that they might get married one day, but Nathan had never seen Danielle that way. Aubrey said Danielle was attractive, but not his type. I asked her again not to tell Nathan yet. I returned to the shower and finished the event. I called Nathan that night and talked about normal things but didn't bring any of this up. I needed time. The next morning, I posted on Reddit. People insisted I talk to Nathan right away, remove Danielle from the wedding, and consider whether Nathan knew more than he let on. That idea made me uneasy, but I knew I had to ask. Nathan came home Monday evening. After he settled in, I told him everything I'd overheard. His reaction was immediate. He got up, paced, and looked furious, but not at me. He said he felt betrayed and couldn't believe Danielle would behave that way at my shower. I asked if anything had ever happened between them. He said no. They had kissed once in high school, during a truth or dare game, but it meant nothing. I asked whether she had ever confessed feelings before. He said never. He seemed genuinely surprised. He explained he had actually introduced Danielle and Jimmy years ago and had no idea she might have liked him. He wanted to call her immediately, but I told him to slow down. I told Nathan I didn't want Danielle at the wedding. I only wanted people who supported us. He agreed. He texted Danielle saying they needed to talk. She said she'd call after work. Nathan also called Jimmy, feeling something about their breakup hadn't added up, and invited him over for dinner the next night. He'd never given me a single reason to question his loyalty. Not once. He's always been the steady type. Quiet, dependable. If he says he'll take care of the leaky faucet on Saturday, it's fixed before the day ends. He manages our shared savings account for the house we're planning to buy. Every month, he shows me the statement, points out the interest, and updates a detailed spreadsheet he created. He's careful about everything. He was also the one who stayed awake with me for 3 nights straight when I had a terrible flu years ago, changing towels, bringing soup, making sure I took each dose of medicine. I never doubted him. A few months ago, maybe in October, he upgraded to the premium version of the cloud storage service we use. We already had a shared family plan for basic things, photos, documents, trips. He said the premium tier offered better backup options for his work files and coding projects, plus more space. He's a software developer, so the reason made sense. He often works on large files from home. I just use the basic version for my phone photos. We both have automatic photo upload turned on, with our pictures going into separate folders inside the shared drive. Mine to Sarah Pics, his to Henry Phone Pics. Easy enough. Yesterday morning around 8 a.m., Henry was downstairs making coffee. I heard the grinder running. I stayed in bed scrolling the news on my tablet. I remembered taking a picture of a rash on our dog's ear the night before to show the vet. I wanted to check if it had gotten worse. I opened the Cloud app and went to my photo folder. The sync sometimes lags, and the picture wasn't there yet. Occasionally, files land in the main directory if the connection drops. I went up 1 level to the shared folders. The usual ones were there. Documents, vacation pictures, Sarah Pics, Henry Phone Pics, house stuff. But there was another folder titled Project Archive Score Backuptober. Henry often makes oddly named folders for work, so it looked normal enough. He had mentioned a big archival project in October when he upgraded the account. Curious, maybe still looking for the dog picture, I opened it. It wasn't locked, and it wasn't work material. It was photos and videos, hundreds of them. The thumbnails loaded fast. They were of a woman, not me. Close-up selfies, pictures in various places. Some were simple shots of her smiling. Others weren't just her face. There were hotel room photos, rooms I didn't recognize, images of her on beds that weren't ours. Screenshots of explicit text messages. The timestamps went back months, starting late September or early October. There were steady uploads every week or two. One subfolder was dated from a weekend in November when Henry said he'd gone on a solo hiking trip to clear his head before a project deadline. He'd sent me pictures of trees and one blurry shot of his boots near a stream. The photos in this subfolder, stamped for that same weekend, showed the woman, Mel, based on file names, and Henry together in a hotel. There was a picture of them raising champagne glasses, the hotel logo visible on a coaster beside them. Another was a selfie Henry took of both of them in bed, her head resting on his shoulder, his arm around her. I closed the folder. I closed the app. I put the tablet on the nightstand. I heard the coffee machine dripping downstairs. I went to the bathroom. I stared at myself in the mirror. Then I turned on the shower and stood under the water until it ran cooler. I got dressed and went downstairs. Henry was at the kitchen table reading something on his laptop, coffee beside him. He looked up and said, "Morning. Coffee's ready." I poured myself a mug without milk or sugar, unusual for me. I took a sip and walked back upstairs. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, stared at the login screen, but never logged in. I just held the mug as it cooled. Later, Henry came upstairs. He stood at the doorway. "Everything okay?" "You didn't say much." I kept staring at the screen. "Just thinking about work." "On a Saturday," he asked. "Big deadline," I said. He hesitated, then said he might mow the lawn. I told him okay. He left. I didn't open the cloud app again. I didn't need to. The pictures, the dates, the locations, they were all clear. We've been trying for a baby for over a year. Last month, we had our first fertility clinic appointment. He held my hand the whole time. He asked the doctor detailed questions. We have a second appointment next week. He was downstairs reading when I picked up my phone and texted my sister, asking if I could come over. She replied immediately, "Sure. Everything okay?" I just said I needed a change of scene. She asked me to bring pizza. I sent a thumbs up. What was I supposed to say to him? "I saw pictures." Pictures you stored in a folder called Project Archive Backup Corp Tuber? What was there to ask? The evidence was his phone, his uploads, his timestamps. Update 1. Thank you to everyone who commented. Your advice helped me feel less alone. Henry definitely knew something was off. He kept checking if I felt okay, if work was stressful, if I was worried about the clinic appointment. I kept my answers short, saying I was tired or had a headache. Around 4 p.m., I packed an overnight bag. "Where are you going?" he asked. "To Christina's," I said. "She's my younger sister. She's been struggling with her job search. I said I'd keep her company." He nodded slowly. "Overnight?" "Yeah, easier that way." "Okay. Drive safe." He didn't offer to come. He didn't question it. At Christina's, after we closed the door, she immediately asked what was going on. I told her everything. The folder, the pictures, Mel, the hotel, the dates, the hiking lie, the fertility appointment. She didn't speak at first, just grabbed the pizza from the delivery guy. We both ate quietly. Then she asked about the name Mel. She checked LinkedIn, searched women at Henry's company named Mel, Melissa, Melinda, Melanie. She filtered by our city. A few profiles showed up. She turned the laptop toward me. I pointed to one that looked like the woman in the photos, Melissa R., in marketing. Her profile listed the same cross-department project Henry worked on last fall. Her start date lined up. She was connected with some of Henry's acquaintances. It wasn't proof, but it made sense. Christina suggested gathering evidence, screenshots, downloads, anything. I opened the cloud app again. The folder was gone. No trace. Not in trash. He must have deleted it after noticing my behavior. "Okay," Christina said. "You know what you saw. Now you need a plan." She suggested I talk to a lawyer. Our parents had a friend, David, who specializes in family law. She found his number. I wrote it down. She also told me to start collecting financial documents, bank statements, the house savings spreadsheet, fertility clinic receipts. "Just get copies quietly," she said. I stayed the night on her pull-out sofa. I barely slept. This morning, I called David's office. Left a message. Henry texted me around 9 a.m., asking if everything was okay and if I needed anything. I gave a short reply. Meanwhile, I saved bank statements and joint savings records to a USB drive. David called back around 11 then and scheduled a consultation for Monday. For now, I'm figuring out when to go home. Christina says not to confront him yet, not until after speaking with David. Update 2. It's Monday evening. I had my call with David this morning. It lasted an hour. He asked for the timeline, the marriage length, financial details, the fertility treatments. I explained everything. He told me how separation and divorce work in our state, asset division, the limited effect of infidelity in no-fault situations, but potential leverage if marital funds were spent on the affair. He advised me to keep documenting everything. He warned me not to move out unless I felt unsafe. He emailed a summary afterward. Henry and I barely interacted today. He made himself a sandwich and asked if I wanted lunch. I said no. He brought me water later. The air between us felt charged, like static. Around 6 p.m., he came upstairs. "Are we going to talk?" he asked. I said we could. We sat in the living room. I told him exactly what I saw. The folder, the photos, the texts, the hotel weekend. His face went pale. I asked who Mel was. He said she worked in marketing. He admitted they got close during the project. He admitted he slept with her. He said it just happened. He said it ended before Christmas. He said he deleted the folder when he realized I might have seen it. He apologized repeatedly. He said it didn't mean anything. He begged to fix things. He asked for counseling. I told him to leave. He tried to argue. He tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. I repeated myself until he stopped. He packed a bag and left. I locked the door behind him. I called Christina. Then I canceled our fertility appointment. I made tea. Walked through the quiet house. I haven't decided anything permanent yet. But he couldn't stay. Update 3. 3 weeks have passed since Henry left. I hired David officially. I gathered all the financial documents, spreadsheets, statements, pay stubs. David noticed Henry's increased cash withdrawals starting last fall, plus hotel charges from the same chain as the photos. He said this could count as dissipation of marital assets, which could affect division. Henry texted a few times, mostly apologies or logistical questions. I kept replies short. His lawyer emailed a proposal for mediation. David recommended agreeing. We have the first session next month. I went to the fertility clinic alone to discuss options, pausing treatment, freezing eggs, donor options later. I haven't made decisions. Work keeps me busy. I use the spare room as my office. I moved a box of Henry's college textbooks to the garage. I haven't boxed up the rest yet. The house is quiet, sometimes peaceful, sometimes empty. The dog's rash healed on its own. Life has shifted into the slow, practical process of untying a shared life, documents, calls, decisions. No quick answers, just the next step, then the next. That's all for now.